FIFA World Cup. 1930 World Cup, Uruguay. The inaugural FIFA World Cup in 1930 was hosted by Uruguay, marking the first ever international tournament of its kind. Uruguay was chosen as the host to celebrate the centenary of its first constitution, and also because the Uruguayan football team had won the Olympics in 1924 and 1928, showcasing their football prowess. The tournament featured 13 teams, invited without the need for qualification matches. Notable teams from Europe included France, Belgium, Yugoslavia and Romania, with most other teams hailing from the Americas due to the challenging long-distance travel of the time. Uruguay won the tournament, defeating Argentina 4-2 in a thrilling final held in Montevideo, crowning them the first-ever World Cup champions. This victory was significant, fostering a deep sense of national pride and setting a precedent for the importance of the World Cup in international football. 1934 World Cup, Italy. The 1934 World Cup, hosted by Italy, was the first to feature a qualification phase, expanding the tournament's reach and competitive nature. This edition saw 16 teams competing, including the first appearance of a team from Africa, Egypt. The tournament was also marked by its single-elimination format, differing from the group play used in other editions. Italy, under the rule of Mussolini, saw the World Cup as a means to promote fascist ideals, making this tournament one of the first to be influenced by political undertones. The Italian team won the tournament, defeating Czechoslovakia 2-1 in the final, securing their first World Cup title. This victory was crucial for Mussolini's regime, using the triumph to bolster national pride and fascist propaganda. 1938 World Cup, France. The 1938 World Cup in France was the last before World War II halted the tournament for 12 years. It featured 15 teams, with Austria having qualified but withdrawing due to the Anschluss with Germany. This led to Sweden advancing to the quarter-finals by default. The tournament continued with the single-elimination format and was notable for Italy's successful defence of their title, becoming the first team to win consecutive World Cups by defeating Hungary 4-2 in the final. This edition was also marked by political tensions, notably with the Italian team performing the fascist salute before matches. Brazil's Leonidas da Silva emerged as the tournament's top scorer, introducing the world to his dazzling skills and the bicycle kick. The 1938 World Cup is remembered for its high-scoring matches and the overshadowing spectre of impending global conflict, which would significantly impact the future of international football. 1950 World Cup, Brazil. After a 12-year hiatus due to World War II, the World Cup resumed in 1950, with Brazil hosting to showcase its post-war recovery and passion for football. This tournament is remembered for the introduction of the group stage format, leading to a final round-robin group, rather than a knockout final, a unique setup not repeated in later tournaments. It featured 13 teams, as many European nations were still recovering from the war's aftermath. The final match, often referred to as the Maracanazo, saw Uruguay stunning Brazil 2-1 in front of an unprecedented crowd, estimated at about 200,000 in Rio de Janeiro's Maracanã Stadium. This shocking defeat left an indelible mark on Brazilian football, symbolising the nation's most profound sporting tragedy. 1954 World Cup, Switzerland. The 1954 World Cup in Switzerland is famed for its Miracle of Bern, where West Germany defeated the heavily favoured Hungary in the final, overturning a 2-0 deficit to win 3-2. This tournament expanded to 16 teams, featuring a mix of group play and a knockout format. The 1954 edition was notable for its high scoring, with an average of over 5 goals per game, a record that stands to this day. Hungary's golden team, led by Ferenc Puskás, entered the tournament, unbeaten in 4 years, and dazzled the world with their skill and attacking play, making their defeat all the more dramatic. West Germany's victory served as a symbol of post-war recovery, marking the country's return to the international stage. 1958 World Cup, Sweden. The 1958 tournament in Sweden was groundbreaking for several reasons. It was the first World Cup broadcast internationally, allowing fans worldwide to partake in the excitement. This edition also marked the debut of a 17-year-old Pelé, who would become one of the greatest footballers of all time. Brazil clinched their first World Cup title, defeating Sweden 5-2 in the final, with Pelé scoring twice. The tournament showcased the emergence of new footballing nations, with 16 teams participating, including Wales and the Soviet Union making their first appearances. The 1958 World Cup is often celebrated for its sportsmanship and high-quality football, setting the stage for Brazil's dominance in the decades to come and introducing the world to the beauty of Brazilian football. 1962 World Cup. Chile. The 1962 World Cup in Chile was a testament to the unifying power of football, held against the backdrop of a recent devastating earthquake in the host country. The tournament featured 16 teams and saw Brazil defend their title successfully, showcasing their tactical flexibility and depth, even in the absence of a key player, Pelé, due to injury early in the competition. The emergence of Garrincha as a global superstar was a highlight, with his dazzling play earning him the Golden Ball as the tournament's best player. This edition is also remembered for the infamous Battle of Santiago, a match between Italy and Chile marked by extreme physicality and on-field violence, reflecting the intense emotions football can evoke. Brazil's victory over Czechoslovakia in the final solidified their status as a footballing powerhouse. 1966 World Cup, England. The 1966 World Cup, hosted by England, remains one of the most iconic editions, primarily because it marked England's first and only World Cup victory. The tournament expanded the global reach of the game, with North Korea making a surprising run to the quarter-finals, including a stunning victory over Italy. The final between England and West Germany at Wembley Stadium is legendary, with England winning 4-2 after extra time, thanks in part to Geoff Hurst's historic hat-trick, the only one ever in a World Cup final. The match also featured a controversial goal that has been debated ever since. The 1966 World Cup embodied the spirit of competitive sportsmanship and left an enduring legacy in the heart of English football culture. 1970 World Cup, Mexico. The 1970 World Cup in Mexico is often hailed as one of the greatest tournaments, featuring the introduction of colour television broadcasts that brought the game's beauty to a global audience like never before. This edition is celebrated for the excellence of play, sportsmanship, and the emergence of footballing philosophies that would influence the game for decades. Brazil's legendary squad, featuring Pelé in his last World Cup appearance, Rivelino, Jairzinho, and Carlos Alberto, captivated the world with their skill, creativity, and attacking play, securing Brazil's third World Cup title. The final against Italy ended in a 4-1 victory for Brazil, a match that showcased football at its best. The 1970 tournament also featured the first use of red and yellow cards, though none were actually shown. Mexico's altitude and heat played significant roles, influencing the pace and strategy of the games, making Brazil's triumph even more remarkable. 1974 World Cup, West Germany. The 1974 World Cup, hosted by West Germany, introduced the world to the total football philosophy of the Netherlands, a revolutionary approach that saw players interchange positions dynamically. Despite the brilliance of Johan Cruyff and his team, the tournament concluded with West Germany claiming their second World Cup title. The Germans, led by Franz Beckenbauer, overcame the Netherlands in the final with a 2-1 victory in Munich. This edition is also notable for the introduction of the current World Cup trophy, replacing the Jules Rimet trophy. The tournament expanded to include 16 teams, featuring a second round of group stages rather than a knockout format, a structure that added complexity and excitement to the competition. 1978 World Cup, Argentina. Argentina hosted the 1978 World Cup amidst a backdrop of political turmoil within the country. The tournament is remembered both for the footballing brilliance on display and for the controversies surrounding it, including allegations of match manipulation. Argentina won their first World Cup title, defeating the Netherlands 3-1 in the final held in Buenos Aires. Mario Kempes emerged as a national hero, finishing as the tournament's top scorer. The victory provided a temporary moment of unity and joy for the host nation, though the surrounding political circumstances led to mixed feelings about the tournament's legacy. The passionate crowds and vibrant atmosphere of the matches, however, underscored the deep connection between Argentine society and football. 1982 World Cup, Spain. The 1982 World Cup in Spain was expanded to feature 24 teams, reflecting the growing popularity and global reach of the tournament. This edition is celebrated for its high drama and exceptional football, including Italy's triumph over West Germany in the final with a 3-1 victory, granting Italy their third World Cup title. The tournament is also remembered for the thrilling match between Italy and Brazil, known as the Sarria's Battle, where Paolo Rossi's hat-trick eliminated the highly favoured Brazilian team. Additionally, the 1982 World Cup saw the introduction of the group stage in the second phase of the tournament, a format change aimed at reducing the likelihood of match fixing. Spain '82 left a legacy of memorable moments, from Algeria's shocking win over West Germany to Northern Ireland's victory against the host nation, showcasing the unpredictability and excitement of the World Cup. 1986 World Cup, Mexico. The 1986 World Cup returned to Mexico, making it the first country to host the tournament twice. This edition is best remembered for the extraordinary performances of Diego Maradona, who led Argentina to its second World Cup victory. Maradona's prowess was on full display, most notably in the quarter-final against England, where he scored both the infamous Hand of God goal and the goal of the century, dribbling past 5 England players. Argentina defeated West Germany 3-2 in a thrilling final in Mexico City. The tournament expanded the global fascination with football, showcasing a mix of technical skill, strategic depth, and individual brilliance. 1990 World Cup, Italy. Hosted by Italy, the 1990 World Cup is often remembered for its defensive play, which led to a record number of matches decided by penalty shootouts, including the final. West Germany claimed its third World Cup title by defeating Argentina 1-0 in a rematch of the previous final, a match decided by a penalty kick, the first and only time a World Cup final has been decided in this manner. The tournament was marked by the emotional semi-final between Italy and Argentina, which saw the host nation eliminated in a penalty shootout. The 1990 World Cup also witnessed the emergence of Cameroon, which reached the quarter-finals, the best performance by an African team at the time, highlighted by their surprise victory over defending champions Argentina in the opening match. 1994 World Cup, United States. The 1994 World Cup was the first to be held in the United States, aiming to popularize the sport in a country where soccer was not a dominant sport. This tournament set records for attendance, underscoring the global appeal and growing popularity of football. Brazil claimed their fourth World Cup title, defeating Italy in the final through the first-ever World Cup final penalty shootout after a goalless draw. The tournament was notable for the tragic murder of Colombian defender Andrés Escobar, who scored an own goal in the group stage, highlighting the intense pressures and sometimes dangerous passion associated with the sport. The 1994 World Cup also featured the emergence of new stars like Romario, who was instrumental in Brazil's success and highlighted the increasing commercialization and global reach of the game. 1998 World Cup, France. The 1998 World Cup in France marked the expansion of the tournament to 32 teams, allowing for greater global participation. This edition is celebrated for its high level of competition and the emergence of new footballing nations. France won its first World Cup title, defeating Brazil 3-0 in the final, with Zinedine Zidane scoring twice from set pieces. The tournament was notable for the surprising performance of Croatia, a young nation that finished third in its first World Cup appearance. The 1998 World Cup also witnessed the shock early exit of defending champions Brazil, amidst controversy over the health of star player Ronaldo before the final. This edition highlighted the importance of team unity and tactical discipline, with France's victory on home soil igniting national celebrations and showcasing the unifying power of football. 2002 World Cup, South Korea and Japan. The 2002 World Cup was historic as it was co-hosted by South Korea and Japan, the first time the tournament was held in Asia and the first to be hosted by 2 countries. This edition is remembered for its many upsets and surprises, including the remarkable performance of the South Korean team, which reached the semi-finals, the best finish by an Asian team in World Cup history. Brazil won the tournament, claiming their 5th title by defeating Germany 2-0 in the final, with Ronaldo redeeming his 1998 disappointment by scoring both goals. The 2002 World Cup showcased the globalizing trend of football, with teams from traditionally less dominant continents making significant impacts and challenging the established football powers. 2006 World Cup, Germany. The 2006 World Cup in Germany is fondly remembered for its festive atmosphere and the high quality of play. Italy won their fourth World Cup, defeating France in the final via a penalty shootout after a 1-1 draw, a match marred by Zinedine Zidane's infamous headbutt on Marco Materazzi, which resulted in a red card for Zidane in his final professional match. The tournament was characterized by tight matches and a focus on tactical discipline, with many games decided by small margins. The 2006 World Cup also stood out for the introduction of advanced technology and security measures, setting new standards for tournament organization. The lasting legacy of this World Cup includes iconic moments of sportsmanship, drama, and the celebration of football as a unifying global festival. 2010 World Cup, South Africa. The 2010 World Cup holds a special place in history as the first to be held on the African continent, hosted by South Africa. This tournament was celebrated for its vibrant atmosphere, underscored by the ubiquitous sound of vuvuzelas, and for showcasing the spirit and cultural richness of Africa. Spain emerged victorious, winning their first World Cup title by defeating the Netherlands 1-0 in the final, with a goal from Andres Iniesta during extra time. The match was tense and physical, marked by a record number of yellow cards. The tournament also saw the introduction of goal line technology discussions after a disallowed goal in the England-Germany match. Ghana's quarter-final appearance, ended by a dramatic penalty shootout loss to Uruguay, was a highlight, embodying the hopes and passions of the African continent. 2014 World Cup. Brazil returning to Brazil for the first time since 1950, the 2014 World Cup was a festival of football, celebrated for its high-scoring matches and attacking play. Germany won the tournament, securing their fourth title by defeating Argentina 1-0 in a closely contested final, with the match-winning goal scored by Mario Götze in extra time. The tournament was notable for the Mineirazo, a term coined after Brazil's shocking 7-1 defeat to Germany in the semi-final, a match that deeply affected the host nation's football psyche. The 2014 World Cup also featured the rise of social media as a primary platform for fans around the world to share their experiences, making it one of the most digitally connected sports events of its time. 2018 World Cup, Russia. The 2018 World Cup in Russia was praised for its hospitality, modern stadiums, and the use of video assistant referee (VAR) technology for the first time, contributing to fair play and decision accuracy. France won the tournament, claiming their second World Cup title by defeating Croatia 4-2 in a thrilling final, showcasing their young talent and tactical versatility. The final was memorable for featuring an own goal, a penalty awarded after a VAR review, and a teenager, Kylian Mbappé, scoring, highlighting the game's evolving tactics and the emergence of new stars. The tournament also stood out for the unexpected early exits of traditional powerhouses like Germany in the group stage, and for the competitive performances of underdog teams, symbolizing the narrowing gap between footballing nations. 2022 World Cup, Qatar. The 2022 World Cup in Qatar marked several firsts in the history of the tournament. It was the first World Cup held in November and December, a deviation from the traditional June and July schedule to avoid the extreme summer heat of the Middle East. This edition was also notable for being the first World Cup hosted in the Arab world and the second in Asia since the 2002 tournament in South Korea and Japan. Argentina won the tournament, claiming their third World Cup title by defeating France in a final that will be remembered as one of the greatest matches in World Cup history. The final was a thrilling encounter, ending in a 3-3 draw after extra time, with Argentina winning 4-2 on penalties. Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappé, two of the biggest stars in contemporary football, delivered outstanding performances, with Messi cementing his legacy with a World Cup victory and Mbappé scoring a hat-trick in the final. The tournament showcased the beauty of football, bringing together nations from around the world in a celebration of sport and culture, despite controversies surrounding the event, including concerns about human rights, the climate. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like the content.